We can barely imagine a whale's life, let alone what's in their mind. One man is ready to try. It's a journey into the deepest thinking. He'll find intelligence and capacity for emotion. There's ingenuity, risk, and reward. We see tenderness and curiosity. Whales have loving families, rivalries, and music. Putting it all together, what emerges is the unexpected. Alaska calls humpback whales from the warm Pacific to feed together in its rich, deep waters. Filmmaker and marine biologist Rick Rosenthal's journey into the whale mind begins here.
It looks like a good day to spot whales.
He's on the trail of a particular humpback that's defying all expectation. He finds his whale alone, patrolling a rocky shore. Every April, she comes to this one bay.
Here she is, right next to the rocks. Right through here, and I'm looking through the spruce trees. I'm in the forest, and she's in the rocks, right below me.
What's she thinking? It's dangerous for her to come into the shallow water.
Animals often act on instinct, but may also be thoughtful and creative. One way to separate invention from instinct is to get to know an individual. This whale has a reputation for having a mind of her own. Rick follows in his stealth kayak for a closer look. She ignores Rick. She's bubble net feeding. Humpbacks trap a school of fish by blowing a wall of bubbles and imprisoning them inside. Rick puts on his dive gear to join her in her world.
I've never hidden in tree branches before to film a whale, but this might be my chance to see what she's actually doing in the shallow water.
Underwater, something is strange. She's unusually silent. She's made a discovery that she doesn't want to share. Bite-sized baby salmon. Humpbacks are not salmon eaters. She's alone, not afraid of people, and trying new tastes. This humpback is up to something. Her secret is just around the headland. There are tens of millions of juvenile salmon in the Hidden Falls Salmon Hatchery. She times her journey perfectly. She's come thousands of kilometers, yet each year she arrives just before the salmon release begins. Her scars show she's already had close encounters with cables and boats. Baby salmon are reared in closed nets suspended from pontoons anchored in the bay. As the young smolts grow, some escape and feed a few locals. The salmon still in the nets are now ready for life at sea. The side nets are dropped and 2 million fish swim out of each pen. The hatchery has varied the time of the first release, but she has always arrived ahead of them. This year, they tow some of the pens out of the bay, away from the greedy eyes of the whale. The salmon are intended to augment the wild stocks, which have been declining. Their plan underestimates the whale. She has silently followed the pens. There's little the team can do. It's illegal to harass or harm a whale. The fact that a huge calculating brain is at work here is no consolation for John Pierce, the manager of the hatchery. Livelihoods are at stake. It's a battle of wits, whale versus man. Investigating whale ingenuity takes Rick to Arctic Norway. Under the northern lights are some of the richest seas on Earth. Here, sunrise and sunset meet for a few hours between long nights. Rick and Captain Andreas Heider are looking for killer whales or orcas.
Ever see the mountain they want to go down? Right up. Yeah.
Killer whales feed on the huge shoals of herring that overwinter in these waters. A family pod coordinates the search with their own repertoire of clicks, whistles, and pulsed calls. The calls can be heard from far away and help keep the family together. Once they find the herring, the whales corral them into the shallows using high-pitched sound. The fish crowd together. The family uses this to their advantage.
It looks chaotic, but it's a coordinated attack. The herring are in panic mode, and dozens of whales are now sharing the feast.
The whales now fire an intense, short-range sound that jams the herring's nervous system, stunning them. The family delicately pick off disabled herrings one by one. They're so successful, they can afford to be fussy. Only the tender middle part of the body is eaten. Few animals on land hunt with such sophistication. On the other side of the world, Rick finds killer whale ingenuity under very different circumstances. Off the coast of Mexico, predators are in a constant quest for food. Prey is spread out and difficult to come by. This ragged band of transients wear the scars and parasites to prove that it's tough here. These killer whales work undercover, silently. Prey is wary. Possible food appears from below. Whiptail stingrays are armed and dangerous.
Stingrays sometimes are coming right towards me. I don't want that on my chest. I'm pushing them away. I don't want that stuck in me.
The killer whales, too, seem to know to be careful.
That whiptail stingray has quite a spine, and it's venomous. If they get that in their tongue or their mouth, there's going to be some serious pain there.
The whales must have recognized this ray from the several species without a poisonous spine. They take time to consider. It's valuable food, but dangerous. The whales are working out how to deal with the stingray. They softly chirp to each other in whispers. These whales are stalkers. They work quietly.
The lead female would come in to check it out, then pull back to let the other one smash it with its tail. Really looks like they're passing on that information, that knowledge, how to stun the stingray and take it as food. You don't want to get between the orca's tail and the stingray, or you're busted up.
The family tries the technique in turn. The lead whale takes her ray to share with the rest of the pod. This is not instinct, it's creative. Whales can see a problem and think of a solution. A humpback in Alaska is a lone inventor, an original. She's waiting for the next batch of salmon to be released. She's daring to push the limits, swimming confidently around the nets and boats while she waits. The hatchery staff are planning their next move too, plotting to outwit the silent leviathan lurking below. The manager has chartered a commercial fishing boat. The little salmon are sucked up through a specially designed pipe. 2 million fish will fit in a live well on the boat.
It's incredible that one whale is pressuring them to go through all this.
There's no way for the humpback to sense what's inside the pipe or the boat. The ship, with one penload of salmon, heads for a release point far offshore. There's no sign of the humpback. It's a win for the hatchery. Or so it seems. A proportion of the salmon returns to the bay. Our humpback whale patrols the shoreline and soon finds them. Dozens of pens remain. Removing the rest of the fish will take too long. Meanwhile, crowding is bringing disease. There's a new plan. Instead of opening the nets on all 4 sides, they drop only one side of the enclosure. The salmon swim out, but can dart back into the pen in case of danger. Our whale wants more than just a few stragglers. She wants them all. She swims below the net that lines the bottom of the pen. Then she blows a massive bubble under the pen in a brilliant attempt to flush the fish out. She understands the problem perfectly. Rick is hoping to see the whale swim beneath the net.
I know she's down there somewhere, but the water's so dark, it's hard to see anything.
No one could have imagined what happened next. She slipped unnoticed into the pen with Rick. Not a ripple, not a sound. "12 meters of whale in a 12 by 8 meter pen.
That's a giant whale in a little swimming pool.
She hasn't got in by chance. She's daring enough to maneuver through the small opening again and again. In this game of strategy, a wild whale has clearly beaten us, 1-to-1, brain to brain. Most whales appear briefly, magically, take a breath, and then return to their world. The Azores are fringed by canyons running deep underwater. There, over a kilometre below, live sperm whales and giant squid. Rick listens with his hydrophone to the Morse code of clicks and calls of the sperm whales far below him.
I can hear them. The whales are clicking away.
Sperm whales call in phrases with specific meanings that maybe even amount to a language. They certainly have family dialects.
They're moving off down the underwater canyon. I can hear that they're getting further away.
Rick needs to get back to the support vessel fast. He can't afford to lose them.
Once we're at the surface, we can't lose visual contact. They're masters at slipping out of sight.
Sperm whales spend most of their life cruising the abyss in darkness. Coming up from below, how different the world of light and air must seem. They've been holding their breath for about an hour. They need to recover. Rick uses his kayak to approach the whales quietly. Pedals drive fins that move in the same way that fish swim. This is a family pod. Sperm whales live in matriarchies. The females are in charge. Grandmothers pass on 80 years of wisdom.
They can see me, but they zap me as well with their sonar. They're making a sound picture of me.
Here in the Azores, whaling was banned in 1986. The older generation of sperm whales are veterans from that war. Now, after 30 years of protection, trust perhaps is starting to return.
It's not like Moby Dick, the big whale that sunk the whaling ships. These are really tender, sensitive animals.
A female glides along on her back. The family caresses belly to belly. It's not courtship or mating. It's more like hugging, but without arms. As they rub together, they groom each other, removing dead skin. It must feel good when you don't have anything solid to scratch on. A youngster seems to delight in the moment. He appears to close his eyes. Their sensitivity to sound is phenomenal. They can hear each other's heartbeat through the water.
The family's splitting up, so I need to make a quick decision about which group to follow.
3 teenagers swim off together. One of the youngsters makes a beeline for a small ball-like object covered in barnacles floating at the surface. He rolls on his back and feels the texture, maybe to understand what it is. In a liquid world, any solid object is worth investigating. The sperm whale's mouth is a precision weapon. They can grab fast-moving fish and squid and hold on to them in total darkness. It takes practice. The 3 youngsters pass the ball between them. There's an enthusiastic chatter of clicks.
Seeing the whales playing ball and having fun, I knew that this was something very special.
A sperm whale teenager probably has the longest and most complex education of any animal. They have the biggest brains, 5 times the size of ours. There's a massive mind here, as well as a playful heart.
Sadly, they only give you a short time to look into their lives. And then they're gone.
Off the Atlantic coast of Patagonia, killer whales' hunting strategy is also hard for them to learn and has huge risks. As orcas cruise the shallows, they must judge the tides, waves, and underwater contours perfectly. Experienced killer whales charge up onto the beach to grab a seal. Others watch and learn. It takes years to master this hunting technique. Any mistake can mean stranding or even death. It's worth the risks. Sea Lion Island is a nursery for elephant seals and a seasonal hunting ground for their predators. The mothers left the pups on their own weeks ago.
These elephant seal pups don't seem to have a clue about what could be waiting for them out in the water.
Seal pups live by their instincts rather than by thinking about things too much. That's probably for the best. Some elephant seal pups are swept off rocks and forced to swim before they're ready. Along the shoreline, dodging a 3-ton male elephant seal, Rick finds grisly evidence of how dangerous these beaches can be.
I thought I was here to film killer whales and their dramatic attacks on elephant seals. That's not what I found. It's a dorsal fin of a killer whale, buried under tons of sand. It looks like this orca paid the price for coming in too close.
Rick is hoping biologist Giulia Ecoletti can shed some light on the buried whale. She's part of a research team studying elephant seals and killer whales. Giulia tells Rick that under the dorsal fin are the remains of a large whale that the researchers named Leo. Each spring for years, they had seen him and his pod mates hunting elephant seal pups in shallow water.
The one in the middle.
A few weeks ago, something went very wrong.
The first thing I thought was, okay, we got to save him. So just go into the water and, I don't know, push him away back to the sea. I want to save him. I don't want to, I don't want to watch him die, because he was dying. You could tell.
The pressure of his weight out of water forces up his last meal.
The worst part of that is that we kind of realized that we're nothing much we could do about it. While we were trying to put him back to the sea, we saw the other 2 males. They used to burn in 3. It was Leo, Pinone, and Topone.
Here's the pod.
That's the pod, the 3 males. And while Leo was stranded and crying, Pinone came several times.
The rescue team heard him calling. His podmates stayed close despite the dangers and all the researchers being in the water.
And I remember there was a fin of Pinone just right in front of Leo, just resting in front of Leo.
Many hours later, Leo's podmates were still there beyond the surf line, waiting. Leo died in the dark. Towards dawn, the surviving killer whales left and were away for many months. Whales and dolphins are famously sensitive to distress, even from other species, and sometimes seem to want to help.
What struck me was the other podmates calling to him and waiting nearby and watching. They knew what was happening. They realized that they were losing someone they cared about. There's an emotional wisdom there.
The strongest bond of all is between mother and calf. At Rarotonga in the Cook Islands, a humpback mother and newborn arrive. The calf is less than a month old, born on the 8,000-kilometre journey from the Southern Ocean. Over the next year, she must teach him everything he needs to know to be on his own. Attending her is a young male, a suitor. He's ahead of the other males and hoping to catch her eye early. He wants to escort her on the next leg of her journey within Polynesia as a protector and mate. Her only concern is for her calf. She shields the youngster from the advances of the male. She helps her baby to the surface to take a breath. The suitor remains attentive. She ignores him. Time is running out for this gentle approach. A posse of rival males is about to arrive. To understand humpback whale courtship, Rick joins Nan Hauser, who's been studying humpbacks for over 20 years. Nan and her colleagues have discovered that relationships, whale style, are complicated.
Flow! Flow right here!
It's the gang of rival males. The newcomers have a much more physical strategy. Their breeches and tail slaps are intimidating to other males and a chance to show off to females. They move in on the mother and compete to push closer. The suitor tries to keep them at bay. The gang's assertive tactics are no more successful than the gentle courtship of the suitor. Mother and calf move on and leave the islands. The males all stay. More females will arrive soon. And when they do, the gang has a new plan. Courtship in most animals is about strength or display. With whales, everything is a bit more subtle, a bit more individual. Grey whales come to Magdalena Bay in Mexico to breed. The males wait for the females to arrive. Instead of competing with each other, this small gang entertain themselves. They roll on the bottom. When the surf comes up, they head out to the break and catch some waves. Even for whales, surfing can take some practice. You need just the right wave if you weigh 30 tons. there's a sideways move that doesn't always work well. Upside down is another way. A spin, maybe. Lift your tail, and you nail it.
They must be having fun. They're riding the waves over and over again. After they catch a ride, they turn and head back out to the surf break. This is just a magic moment.
The female whales could be watching from a discreet distance, admiring the best surfer. They could be choosing a partner, but they're not. They are far away at the other end of Magdalena Bay. There they approach small boats and solicit human attention. They even bring their newborns along. This is a wild mother approaching people. There's no obvious benefit. Scientists have different theories as to why grey whales here seek human attention. The whale's curiosity and tactile affection may be a clue to what they think and feel. Like the sperm whales, they seem to enjoy being touched.
I've watched these interactions for a number of years. But it still amazes me how the whales are so trusting.
This was first seen in the 1970s, and slowly more individual mothers took up the idea. For the tourists on the boat, it's a wonderful fleeting moment of direct contact between human and whale. The sound of singing encircles Rarotonga back in the South Pacific. The courting gang of humpback males is practicing their new tactic. The gang has become a choir. Our frustrated suitor has joined 3 other males on the reef to sing. They've decided it's better to work together. Nan Hauser works with other scientists throughout the South Pacific to record humpback whale songs. The songs are some of the most complex in the animal kingdom. Patterns of calls make up phrases. The whales repeat each phrase like verses, forming a longer song. The concert can last for hours.
Oh, this is right below us.
Nan takes Rick to an area over the coral reef where she's frequently recorded the singers. whales are part of courtship, yet scientists also believe that there is data here about their long-distance travels from the pole to the tropics.
The song is so intense, I can feel my entire body tingle from the vibrations.
The whales often sing the same song with individual variations. But every year or two, a new song reaches the island.
I can hear two singing,
Yep.
you know, so awfully cool.
Some competition.
They're right together, and there are two songs going on.
Far out.
It's very special, huh?
Yeah.
We better see if we can get on top of them again.
Okay, let's go.
Back in Nan's office, Rick and Nan studied the day's recordings.
We actually hear one whale teaching the other whales the song, so they mimic it. So for instance, if they start a phrase with whoop, whoop, you hear the first whale singing that song very loudly, and then you hear the second whale copy it. So it's almost like an echo. And sometimes it's really fun because they're singing two different songs, and then after listening to them for about a half an hour, you see them, or at least one of them, incorporating the song into his song. So they actually have this transfer of phrases of songs. It's beautiful.
A new song ripples across the Pacific, passed from whale to whale. It can travel 6,000 kilometers from Australia to French Polynesia. Then, a year or so later, a new humpback hit emerges. Humpbacks, it seems, are dedicated followers of fashion. What is extraordinary is that the song is communal and personal. It contains information and emotion. It reveals something of their inner world. There are clues into the whale mind, if we're lucky enough to know where to look.
After filming whales in many oceans over many years, I come away with a feeling that although they're different from us, they're also a lot more like us than I ever thought before. They have families. They play. They're curious. They can learn. They pass this knowledge on. They have a deep wisdom.
Each insight, though, raises many more questions. The truth is, we've only just touched the surface.